Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi, Batra, and this is a special edition where we're going to be focusing on gold, and all that glitters is this yellow metal because it is trading near its lifetime high levels. Now, what is pushing the rally higher in gold prices, and where do we see gold prices headed from here is something that we will focus on this show. Also, what is the advice that experts are really giving? If you're a potential gold investor, if you want to buy gold at this point in time, is it the right time for you to go ahead and buy the yellow metal is something that we'll focus on. Joining in on this special edition with me is Mr. Navneet Damani from Motilal Oswal Financial Services. He is the Vice President and an expert in commodities. Welcome, Navneet, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Well, first up, congratulations. You had been predicting that the gold prices will continue to hover higher in this year 2023, and that's what is exactly happening. Especially in the last few days, we've seen a very sharp up move. Perhaps this is the shortest time you've been tracking gold prices more than 10 years, 20 years or so. Help me understand, have you seen this kind of a sharp rally in such a short time even before?
Well, hi, good afternoon, Sakshi. And this is exactly what I was coming to, that rallies happened, and I feel proud that I've been able to catch largely the up move. But this has happened in a very short span of time, which gave me jitters that will it hold, or probably will it enter a knee-jerk reaction, or this is just a correction phase which is going in through gold prices. Now, largely, most of the investors have been sitting on sideline waiting for a dip in prices where they want to enter. But the market, as you know, doesn't wait for anybody and is kind of moved very sharply in the last, say, probably 3 months. We've seen upwards of 16-17% kind of move.
Right.
Having said that, rupee depreciation is one of the contributors, and to top it up, we had duty hikes in the previous
Yeah.
budget. This month, we did not see much of a surprise on gold, but silver did have some duty hikes, which led to incremental gain. Now,
Right.
I feel that in the short term, we are largely where we were anticipating prices to be. And from a medium term perspective, the question arises that is it a good time for investors to buy? I
Correct.
think that's the question with most of the anchors or most of the investors who've been waiting on the sideline, and probably
Sure.
that is something which I'd like to address.
Absolutely, you are right. So, where do you see the prices headed from here? Can they continue this rally on the upside, and which are the factors that will support? You did say that, the triggers have already played out. Somehow, the budget trigger has already played out. But what about going forward from here? Because, on the one hand, we've also seen the US Fed really talking about the disinflationary trend. The central bank remains convinced that there will be no US recession this year, even though some of the economists are saying otherwise. But those could have been the factors that could have pushed the gold prices higher. But then what gives you the confidence that if the momentum can sustain, and where do we see the prices going on from here?
Well, that's exactly my point, that the factors have changed very drastically over the last couple of months. And not only the Fed statement, along with that, the price action in gold is something which is kind of little worrying. The Fed stance continues to remain of more two rates hike in the near future. However, they may not be to the tune of 50 basis point, but a 25 basis point hike from here in the next two meetings is likely scenario. To top it up, we have economic data from US, which has not been very robust. The housing numbers have been poor, but global growth rates and jobless numbers continue to remain pretty okay, which gives a comfort to the US dollar. Dollar index has been under pressure from 115 levels. It's now hovering around 101, 102 level, which is one of the bigger factors which has been driving gold over the last few days. And China has started to reopen, where central banks have been getting aggressive on flocking gold. We've seen the Indian central banks buying gold, Russian central banks buying gold, and now with China reopening, they are also one of the participants who will be looking to add gold to their kitty. And this is going to be a phenomena where you will see sustained buying for gold. Now, we've seen certain price hikes or certain price jump, which will take away some investors in, which will make some people cautious to enter at these levels. But prices have to stay around these levels for some time for them to understand and realize that these are normal prices. They may
Okay.
not correct or come to their buying level, and we will have to see so positive trend or some consolidation in prices.
So we are
Uh,
not seeing gold prices dip back to 45K. We are not seeing that.
Oh, definitely. I do not expect 45K. Neither do I expect 50K in the near future.
Oh,
If
okay.
rupee has to correct by about say 10%, then we might be around those levels. But I don't see that also happening. In fact, we see the other way around, that rupee could depreciate to about 84, 85 once again to towards lifetime high, and that could be one of the factors which could be pushing up domestic gold prices
So,
at the lifetime highs once again.
so how soon do we see 60K then?
Well, I think we've run up too quickly, and the rally is likely to fizzle out probably from one quarter perspective. And if we approach 60K as we approach the second or probably the third quarter of 2023, it would be better if we hit the 60K mark within the next few days or weeks. Then it's a bright possibility that we might not deliver any returns in 2023, and we may be in the corrective mode, say probably for the next couple of quarters or so.
Okay, but suggestions by the budget and the government on these duties, will that aid the sentiments for buying more gold at this point in time? Do you see?
Well, gold duties weren't tweaked much. Duties were levied on silver. They've been bought at parity with gold. So there was a differential arbitrage of about 4.5%, which has been kind of mitigated. Plus, to top it up, we've seen over 9,500 tons of silver import in 2022, which is almost 50% higher than what we've seen in the last few years. And for that to curb the kind of massive imports that we are seeing, and to probably benefit out of the massive imports that you're seeing, government has hiked duties so that the government also benefits if the import increase, or probably there could be some curtailments on silver imports at this point. However, I don't see any benefit for gold on the duty front in the near future.
Okay. Between gold and silver at this point in time, what looks more attractive to you from a long-term perspective for all those investors looking to buy even at these levels, looking at that perhaps the prices may go higher in future, and perhaps this could be the range, or when the prices consolidated, they would want to go ahead and buy between gold and silver. What would you suggest to them?
Well, if I recall in the last couple of shows that I've had with you, I've been very positive on both gold and silver.
Yeah.
Uh, Gold largely almost achieved our target, and 15% kind of 16% kind of returns are delivered. But our bet on silver is it's for a slightly higher target. We anticipate that 80,000 and upwards of 80,000, 85,000 could also be on store. So as
Okay.
you said, that 60,000 for gold and probably 85,000 for silver is where we see the year ending at. So for from current levels, we might see over what 3-4 kind of percentage gains for gold, but for silver, it's still a 15% clear gains from here. So between the two, if I have to choose a metal to invest in today, or probably at a dip, it would be silver.